Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Iron Fist Season 1, Episode 6. It's called Immortal Emerges from Cave. Full spoilers for episode, as always. I missed out there, because the title of the episode sounded like it should have a "the" in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I took it the "the" in my following sentence by accident. That wasn't an intentional joke, I just did that on autopilot.
That's the first sentence title that kind of feels like a thematic link based on.
Hey, I'm sure the rest do if you understand
Yeah, but
where they're
just
coming
based
from.
on without any other knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm giving them too much benefit of the doubt with by saying
You
that.
might be.
But I don't know
Maybe
what.
they just went, that sounds cool.
Yeah, but I don't know what those other ones mean. So they could mean
They could,
something
yeah.
related. So that's fair. Uh, so the guy that got last one, the scientist, his daughters get held by the hand, and Danny's on a mission to get them. Ignore my cats who are chasing each other in the background, if you will. So he's on a mission to get her. And he goes through all the warehouses to like all the warehouses related to what's going on to find a clue to lead him to the girl. And Ward ends up going with him because Joy's made Ward promise you need to bring Danny to this meeting to train him how to not say things inappropriate based
And
on what
yeah,
happened
I
last
was a
episode.
little bit confused here because obviously they get in Danny's car. Very, very nice Aston Martin. They drive off, and I thought they made a point of Danny saying he'd never learned how to drive properly.
In the first episode, he did mention something about the last time he drove was when his dad would let him do it, like on their
Yeah,
lot or whatever.
but now he's got a car and presumably a license. Like what?
Yeah, I guess if you're rich, you can just pay the DMV and
I
get a
mean,
license.
maybe, but I'm calling bullshit on this one. That was weird. I wouldn't question it if they hadn't set it up in the first one. I'd be like, oh, he learned to drive over in Cunlin. Fine. They have cars in over there. Why not?
And they have a recognised body that can give out a license that which the US will accept as a form of
Exactly.
driving license. Yes,
Exactly.
yes. But they go. He's got like a really expensive car. It was an Aston Martin, I think.
It
I
was.
think he said. And but yeah, so Ward's go. And I actually at this point I thought, is this going to be half the episode? Is it going to be like Ward going along with the adventure? And that might be amusing. But it ended after one scene of like him
Yeah.
finding the head of the guy from the last episode with the message of where to go. He's been challenged by the hand. The episode actually started with messages going out to the opponents of this challenge, this gauntlet of fighters.
Mm.
Two sort of cooks who have got machetes, a scientist lady, and my favourite of the three, which was an assassin who had murdered a room full of triads or yakuza, whoever he was murdering, so some sort of organised crime group that
Look that way. Yeah.
he'd butchered. But he was doing some karaoke. He was singing "Let On Me,"
Take
and
on me.
yeah, "Take On Me."
Yeah.
It's been a long day. What do you want from
Uh,
me? But he said,
I did
yeah,
particularly enjoy that. I mean, he was having fun at his job,
he was
and
having
you got
fun.
to appreciate that.
Do you know what it is? For one of the first times in this show, it felt like character. It felt like someone had something to them. It
Yeah,
wasn't
it's
just
like he's this. He's having fun as a hitman.
yeah.
You get that.
Whereas a lot of the main characters all feel like they're just kind of like, here, you're this blank slate of this type of
Yeah.
person who you're businessman, you're business lady, you're uh, rich boy who's learned martial
Yeah.
arts. Like you're just those things. Whereas this guy, no, he's got character, and yeah,
He's got
sure,
style.
simple character, but still, in one scene, I got a sense of who he was. I understand how he treated his job, how he enjoyed it, and I
Yeah,
understood him.
exactly. And that's something that you've got to. I don't know if that's in the writer or the director, whoever it was who did this scene, but it's one of the best scenes of the show so far.
As the best fight scene so far was probably in this episode, and I'm talking about the fight in the hospital where Colleen quickly takes out a
Yeah.
henchman who's because basically Claire and Colleen basically, even though they know they can't because the guy's like, oh no, they'll send me to prison if I go to the hospital, they know who I am, they eventually have to because he's the dude's dying, he's on his last leg. So they take him to the hospital, and it's Claire's old hospital. We see some characters that we've seen before from Daredevil, where she left on poor terms because they were trying to cover up the whole hand ninjas attacking the hospital thing. That little incident.
Yeah.
And she's still got friends there, like the other nurse, the security guard, they're all friendly with her. But she's like, that head nurse who was a bitch to me, she was very helpful. That's
Yeah.
suspicious. Of course, she's in on something, and like there's people from the Hand retrieving the scientist. They run into two of the guys, and Claire lets Colleen like take it because yeah, I'm still training. Colleen, you know what you're doing. You handle it. And honestly, this quick little fight scene where she just quickly like takes him down and snaps his arm, effective because it was
It
quick,
was.
had
And do you
energy,
know what I like? Claire went,
movement.
"Oh, you made that look easy." She goes, "It was easy," and that's how it should feel. These like experienced, trained people taking on regular henchmen like that should feel easy. I don't know.
Normally
It
it
just
looks like
normally
Danny's
doesn't.
yeah. Normally it looks like Danny's like thinking about everything really hard when he's doing it.
Exactly, and
Uh,
that's a problem.
Also, Claire dropped a Sweet Christmas.
Yeah, she's picked that up from Luke clearly,
Yeah,
spending too much time with him.
before hitting the guy in the face with the fire extinguisher. I enjoyed their subplot in this episode actually. I think
Yeah,
Claire and
yeah, they were
Colleen had a
pretty fun.
fun little adventure. So that's cool. But so Danny's got this message. He's been challenged to a trial
Yeah,
by the Hand, and he tells the girls about it. And then we see him like practicing his training, doing his little movements. And this is the thing actually that really stuck out to me. I've spoken a lot about obviously over the last 5 videos that I don't quite buy him in the role. He feels like a kid doing pretend. And while I still think that's mostly his fault, I do think the camera work doesn't help because it really stuck out to me during this scene when he's like it's before he starts talking to the imaginary monk who's in his head.
yeah.
And I was like, this might play a lot better if they stylized the way they shot it. If they gave us like close ups and stuff, or they did a thing where maybe the lighting changed when he's like in the zone or something like some sort of. Whereas instead it's just a wide shot of him doing his movements, and it just looks goofy. It looks just feels a bit goofy. Maybe it's because he's just constantly going slow. I feel like it looks better, and maybe again it's a different martial arts kind of thing. But I feel like in the martial arts that I've either been involved in, because I did a little bit of kung fu when I was a kid, and there was always like a sort of uh, a strength to it where you would always like when you put out like a punch movement, you'd always actually put force into it to give it weight.
Yeah, as
Whereas it
if you were
feels like
throwing the punch.
whereas he's doing this kind of chi thing where he's just kind of slowly going through the movements, and it feels.
I'm not sure I mind that too much because it very much seems like it's just his way of meditating.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a way of relaxing rather than practicing. There isn't that's why there's no force. That's why it's very gentle.
Okay, yeah. Get me wrong. There's reasons for it. It feels.
I will say the camera work is kind of boring for it though.
Yeah, it feels really weak on camera, and again, it comes back to the idea that he doesn't feel believable as he's doing it. He feels like someone who has just quickly learned something and is like, again, he's the hipster who has learned a new cool thing from somewhere else, and won't shut up about it. He's always telling his friends, to the point where he still is saying like random little things like. I can't remember any of them specifically, but he drops these little lines about respecting your master, and the dragon will help you out in your travels if you do this. It's just these random lines that he throws in, and obviously the people that are hearing it aren't going to understand the word he's saying, but he's thrown it in there anyway. Because look, I'm cool, I know all this stuff.
Yeah.
But he goes to the location, and what we get is a series of fight scenes. First, the two guys with the machetes. What stood out to me in this scene actually is they say you realise this is a combat to the death, right? Fight to the death. You realise that, and he's like, "Oh, you want to drop out?" 2 minutes later, they drop a circle of blood and go, "You lose if you exit the circle." You just said it was a fight to the death, and now there's another way to lose.
I mean, I think they're just saying that's a way to lose. That they don't have to stop.
I don't know. It just
Yeah, I get where you're coming
it was
from.
inconsistent. Fight. Do you know what's funny? I thought this fight was better than the ones we'd had, typically. But the one thing that stuck out to me more in this fight is that there was some obvious stunt double work going on with Danny, and I felt like so you took away the mask and the costume, when in reality that would have made it easier to do this and have a stunt double because we wouldn't have noticed
So
it as
much
much.
easier. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. Like Daredevil, like there'll be a stunt double half the time he's fighting, but you don't even notice because he's got a mask that covers most of his face, so it doesn't even
Exactly.
feel. Whereas in this, I feel like that's a wig to look like his hair on someone else's head because he's got these curls and they have to match the curls,
Yeah.
and it was kind of sticking out. The second fight was kind of cool because it was the scientist lady who's like she's like an expert on spiders, and
she's poisoning him with the venom.
And she shows up all sort of seductive, and she's like trying to like seduce him. It's when she's in for the kiss, she like pricks him in the back
I
of
like
the neck.
how he completely just falls. I think it's very clear, even if there were women on Kunlun, there weren't many, or he didn't have that much interaction with them.
Well, he talked in the last episode about how he was like, it was celibacy. He had to take a vow.
Yeah. He clearly doesn't know how to, even just without the celibacy, he just doesn't know how to deal with women on this level.
Yeah, he falls for it completely. Admittedly, I'd probably fall for it as well.
Can't blame him too much on this one.
My strength is weak in this regard. When a woman comes at me dressed like that and spouting sexual nonsense, you kind of got a chance. It's also worth mentioning that all these fight scenes, they every so often the sound will drop out and we hear him like a monk talking to him and like try to give him instructions and talking about how you need to let Danny Rand die so the Iron Fist can live and.
Yeah, it was clearly the trial where he went to face the dragon to get his powers. This is the kind of the lessons that he had leading up to that.
Mm-hmm. And he's fighting, and he eventually he beats her. Actually, best part of the fight with the spider lady is once he's been pricked and he's sort of standing there, and I think he's talking to the monk, but she just like spin kicks him in the head, and it looked really funny, and I thought it was amusing.
Joe, there was a bit I actually really liked in this in terms of the direction. It was just after he kind of shakes off all the poison, and it's kind of all the mist kind of clears, and she kind of comes through, and then he takes her out in the kick or whatever it was. But that just little shot of where the mist was clearing, I kind of liked that. That was pretty nice.
Yeah. And then he gets to the third person, which is of course the assassin,
the cool guy from the start.
Yeah, the cool guy who was doing the karaoke. Again, he's got a bit of an attitude and he fights, and this is a more typical fight scene. Again, it was okay. It was better than the ones we'd had typically up until now.
To a point, I think the first part of it was pretty good.
It slowed down towards the end.
It was the second where he picked up, the weapon that was like the two scythes. On either end. As soon as he got to that weapon, it slowed right down.
Yeah. It was okay before then, and then it kind of slowed down. Although I actually did kind of like the bit in the scaffolding when they're like.
I liked it being used, the environment being used. Yeah, that was interesting, and you get away with being a bit slower when you've got physical bars between you.
Yeah, well, because he kept trying to swing his fancy weapon, and it kept catching on the bars, and that was kind of fun. Like that was definitely the best part of the Danny fighting in this episode.
Definitely.
And because it was kind of a little bit creative, it had a little bit of fun to it, and that was okay. Whereas the two guys with the blood circle, as much as it was more serviceable, it didn't really do anything for me either.
It was just acceptable, wasn't it? It was fine.
Yeah. So he's about to win, and then Madame Gao, who's been here by the way the whole time, she pops up, and they have this little thing at the start where they agree on the terms of the duel, and they do this little thing with the water, which I'm assuming that's taken from somewhere as a way to. It
seems some sort of symbol, washing of the hands, isn't it? So that's pretty symbolic in itself, cleaning before you begin.
Yeah. But she has because one of the terms is that he'll get the girl back, and the hand will also leave Rand. Or if Danny loses, he can't interfere with what the hand are doing, so he has to just let them. Do the thing, but. At the last second, she pulls out the girl that he's trying to save with a blade to her neck, and he's like, forfeit right now or the girl dies. So the hands still get to do what they want, and they're still at odds essentially because we knew it wasn't going to solve everything in episode 6.
Yeah, obviously.
But he gets the girl back, and the monk's like, basically saying, you need to let her die. That's essentially the gist of what he's saying. And Danny's like, no, hero, person.
Yeah. I like how multiple times in this people think he's just completely crazy talking to no one. Because obviously Claire does it earlier on. She's just like, who the hell are you talking to? And it's almost believable there because it's like, you can kind of get away with talking to yourself and meditating in that there. But then as he's walking out of the building with this girl, he just turns around and starts talking at nothing.
And then at one point says, was I supposed to let her die? And that concerns her. She's like, wait, what are you saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I feel like this episode is the best one yet because it's had the best idea. It's also had the most focused idea and the most. It didn't work for me that much because I'm just not invested in the character. But I feel like if you'd taken this core episode and put it in another show, this would have been a good
enjoyed it
episode.
bit more, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, the core idea that he has to go through these trials and each one's a different fight, that's actually like a fun plot for an episode. It's just, I'm not invested in the character.
It was certainly the most well done episode.
Yeah.
In almost every regard, apart from the Ward being a junkie nonsense.
Oh, here we go, yeah. But I'd saved this for last.
You've got to save the best for last, don't you? We can't end too positive.
So, going back to the soap opera antics, they actually kind of left it open-ended last episode if he'd taken the synthetic heroin or not. They left it very open-ended. This episode seems... Again, it doesn't flat out say it, but it seems like he did, because he's proper having, like, weird withdrawal symptoms. And he thinks it's because he's not got his pills. But it's funny, because Joy at the start of the episode, like, comes in and is like, oh, you scared me last night, finding you like that, kind of... And he's like, oh, I'll throw my pills in the trash, there they all go, they're all gone. And he's like, assures her it was a one-time mistake, it won't happen again. And it's like, okay, don't believe him, junkies always say that. But I do have to say, it's a little bit just... By the end of the episode, he's having his issues, and she's seeing him like properly freak out in the meeting.
And he's slamming a car door on his hand.
Yeah, so he can get more pills from like an emergency clinic. He goes in, oh look, I've hurt my hand, can I get something for the pain?
I like how he goes, I need this specific thing for the pain.
Yeah.
He names the drug that he wants.
Well, to be fair, he names 2 or 3 possibilities he'll accept.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
He's an amateur doctor, he can prescribe within a range. But Joyce followed him and sees that he's a complete mess, and I guess that's something we have to deal with. Do you know what bothers me about this? I feel like the show, for as slow as it's moved, it's also completely changed as well. Like, you think of the first couple of episodes, and then think of this episode and the last episode. We've went from no one believing that Danny's Danny, and Ward being this evil businessman, to Danny is now Danny, everyone believes it. He's using company resources to help hunt the hand, and Ward now has this plot where he's a junkie and might be addicted to synthetic heroin. Like, it's moved slow, but at the same time, it's completely...
I think it moves really slowly, but every so often there's just a crashing moment where everything switches.
Yeah, because I feel like the whole company plot's really bad, and I feel like Danny's integration into the company has felt really rushed.
Yeah.
That's the part that's felt rushed, whereas everything else has felt really slow. So it's kind of weird, but it's left us in this weird place where I feel like things have changed even though things have been going really slow. It's bizarre. But there you go. Just
a little bit off topic. The whole time I've been watching this, it's been bothering me. Like, who does Ward remind me of? The actor. It's like it's someone specific.
It looks like an older Justin Long who's seen some shit.
That works. I was thinking, especially when he's doing the junkie stuff around the meeting, he really reminds me of Burn Gorman.
Who's Burn Gorman?
He was in Torchwood. Daggett from Dark Knight Rises.
Right. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. He's in Dark Knight. Or Dark Knight Rises, specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in Pacific Rim. Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and Justin Long had a baby.
Yeah.
And that baby went through a war, so he's a bit stressed in the face.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like. Yeah. I can see it.
That's it.
I can see it. So, yeah. Actually, we talked in the last video about Claire. Like, we liking Claire, and I like Claire in this episode. But the one complaint was at the end of the last episode, she was like, "Oh, if you believe you can defeat the hand, then I have to believe you." It felt like she just kind of forgot she said that in this episode, because as soon as they started talking about, "Oh, I need to go and fight the hand," she was like,
"What, on your own?
Are you crazy? That's for the police, or I've got 3 other friends who can help. They're all very very efficient people. Oh, okay, one's in prison right now, but we'll deal with that at the start of Defenders."
I actually thought she was going to suggest, it's like, look, I know some people could give you some backup, but no, obviously that's going to happen in Defenders. I'm convinced now that Defenders are going to come together because Claire's going to go, "Hey guys, I know some people."
Do you know what I want? I want the opening scene of Defenders to mirror the opening scene of the Avengers, where like something bad happens and someone says to Sam Jackson, "What do we do?" and the camera spins around him and it comes with the title. I want essentially that. I want something to happen at the hospital, and then someone says, "Claire, what do we do?" Camera spins round, Defenders comes on the screen. Because she's essentially the Nick Fury of this show. Well, maybe more the Coulson.
More the Coulson. She's kind of a cross between the two.
More the Coulson, but there's not a Nick Fury, so it's kind of a mixture. Yeah. But it's just...
That would be so fun.
I want it so bad. Although I'm a little worried they will kill her off in Defenders now. Because it's
Don't say that.
because she's the one that will mean something to all four
Oh,
characters.
balls. She will literally become the Coulson.
Yeah. Spoilers for the Avengers, I guess, if you've not seen it.
Look, I think that's safe if you're watching Iron Fist.
Yeah. And he came back anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
It's null and void at this point. Oh dear. Yeah, so I guess this was the best one yet. I mean, we've said that 3 times in a row, so I guess it's improving.
It is, but we also know it's kind of downhill again from here.
But it's very incremental, and it's only certain things that have improved, whereas the core problem of the show is still there. The core thing that's wrong is still wrong.
Yes.
And that's Danny.
Absolutely.
And it's...
But I certainly had the most fun with this one.
Yeah, I had more fun ideas. At certain points, the whole setup and the fights and the sequence of fights was kind of fun schlock, and that became kind of entertaining to a point.
You almost like kung fu movies. You know, it was a bit like fun schlock.
Almost.
Yeah.
It's just we need someone, a different lead who actually sells me that he is who he says he is, and you know that would help. Who was it? One of them said something about being a dumb schoolboy who's not really what he says he is, and I laughed because I'm like, yeah, I agree. Assassin.
Yeah. There was a few points in that where they were like, oh, I think it was one of them said, what are you even doing? I think it was the 2 guys in the circle who were like, what are you even doing in New York? What's your purpose here? And why did you even leave Kunlun? It's like, yeah.
Oh, that was Gao.
Yeah, why did you? Was it Gao?
Well, Gao says that as well, but at least she says it at the end.
I think a couple of them say
it's
it.
when she reveals, we haven't even spoken about this yet, so we should mention this. Gao reveals that she was also in Kunlun at one point, and she describes it, and Danny's like, oh, you were in Kunlun. And then she's like, I knew your father. Dun, dun, dun. And that was, like, as much as I had fun kind of with the overall plot of this episode, that was the most soap opera reveal ever.
It is. I could almost hear like music from soaps. You know like how they always end on their bit of music.
It feels like that. It's one of those twists that they always have, and I'm like, oh, what a surprise! Someone knew his father. Maybe his father isn't the angel that he thought he was. Oh, this will be fun.
Yeah.
And she's met an Iron Fist before, so
yeah,
cool. We'll see how that develops. But that has been episode 5, or that's 6. Sorry, 6 of Iron Fist.
Give me a scare there. Thought I had another one.
That's episode 6 of Iron Fist. So what will Danny say when he comes back with the girl and finds out that her dad's been kidnapped by the Hand? Will he get more self-righteous? Actually, I hate to harp on the same things, but see at the start of the episode when Ward comes in and he's like, Danny, you need to come in this meeting, you need to learn how to deal with the public and the press.
I appreciated this actually, because I complained about this last time. I said someone needs to talk to him about how he needs to address this and how he is representative of the company. And
to be fair, that was his second day. It's completely believable they didn't have time yet to do this.
Well, yeah. I'm glad they needed to have someone do it now after this, and I actually appreciate.
And they set it up. Guy came in with his big binder. He was there to go. He's like, right, here we go. We're going to train how to handle situations like this. And so Ward comes into Danny at the start, and he's like, right, you need to come to this meeting. It's important, and I made a promise, and you need to learn how to do this. And of course, Danny is like, no, this is more important. I need to check out these warehouses. I need to find this girl. And it's like, well, this is fine, but just stop pretending you're actually a member of the company. You can still be the shareholder and still make money from it, but you don't actually have to go there and function in the company.
Yeah, one or the other. If you want to be involved in this company, you need to, show up. You need to put in your time.
And don't get me wrong, and this is the problem with the characters here, is that in this scene, Ward's a dick. Right? And I don't really want to agree with him, but I kind of do. And it's this weird problem. You know how sometimes we talk about how good some of the other shows are, like The Expanse, where both the two characters are on opposing sides of an argument, and we love it, and it's so well written because you can accept both sides, you see where both sides are coming from, and neither one feels forced or wrong. They both feel like there's shades of grey. Really well written stuff. This was the inverse of that, where I didn't like either character. I didn't like where either character were coming from, but there was like an element of right, like, because he's trying to save a girl, which is a noble thing to do. Ward's like, right, you have to learn how to do this, and you need to show up for a meeting because you're just being a spoiled little brat who gets what he wants otherwise.
Yeah.
But I don't like either of them. And
John, that's something that's baffling me about this show. Obviously, Ward and Joy are supposed to be kind of the bad guys, so to speak. They're the corporate villainy. But they inherited the top spots, but they clearly put work in. They do a lot of hard work at this company. Clearly, they put the time in. Danny, he's supposed to be he's the moral right, but he doesn't do anything. He doesn't actually do any work for this. He kind of comes in, and goes, "Nah, let's do it my way,"
And how
and
could he?
then pisses off again.
If you, this is the believable way you should have done this. If you're someone who's never, I mean, he's never worked a day in his life, and I mean, sure, he had a rough time of it, and I'm sure he struggled. But in terms of a job, he's never worked a day in his life. This kid, right? And he comes in, he's now like, I don't know what his title is exactly, but he's like top of the company, and Rand
He doesn't
Industries.
have a title. That was the whole thing, remember? Because he asked Jerry,
No,
and he
true.
was like, "Nah, you're just majority shareholder."
Right, fine. This is all fine. I mean, really, he doesn't even have a job. Really, his whole purpose is just to. That's the point, yeah. Because Hogarth just was like, yeah, you don't have a title, you don't do anything. You just, you have an office, you can come
You're just
in.
the owner, basically.
Yeah, and that's fine. Because really, the whole struggle is that he's not supposed to. It's just he keeps talking to people and doing things that he shouldn't be. But anyway, so to make this believable, the way it would work really is you think he would be like, oh, I'll sit back and watch and see how things work because it's day one. I can't just throw my weight around. I am naive and I don't know what's going on. And you would think, if Ward was sensible, if Joy was sensible, they'd just take him to the side and go, look, you've shown up, you've never been here before. You have to learn how things work before you can start making decisions. You have to understand why decisions are being made before you can butt in.
Do you know something I would have really liked? If obviously, the only thing he really knows is his training, his martial arts training.
Yes.
And why doesn't he relate these other things that he clearly doesn't know to his experiences with that? So this is business. He's like, okay, this is important. I'm expected to do things. And he's like, but I don't know what I'm doing here. Why doesn't he think back to his training and go, yeah, I didn't know what I was doing at the start either, but look at me now. And I learned. And how did I learn? I watched people. I was taught. Why doesn't he go, hey, can someone teach me? Give me guidance.
No, he just says, do it my way.
He's just so caught up in the fact that he must be right that he takes no. He hasn't learned any of his lessons in his martial arts stuff. It's what it seems to me.
Well, clearly, when he leaves at the end of the trial, the monk stops talking to him, gives him the silent treatment. He's imaginary monk. It's like, nope, not talking to you. You've learned nothing, you little shit.
Exactly, and it's really hard to root for someone who over 15 years has clearly learned nothing. It's just, what's the point?
He is hard to root for. He's very hard to root for. He falls in between all the cracks of things that you can root for. You can root for a Superman-like character who's noble and good and very Boy Scout. You can root for a really flawed character like, let's say, Jessica Jones or someone like that. But then you have him in the middle who is trying to be noble and good but is a constant idiot in, like... Because even, like, that thing with the pills, even Superman would not argue that they should at least make a profit on the pills. Maybe 50's too high, sure, but Superman understands.
He would go, all right, yeah, you're a business and research. There are benefits to making money in general. He has a job.
He does have a job. He understands. He has to pay rent.
He's a hard-working man, that farmer boy that he is.
Farmer boy, reporter, saving the world. He's had a busy day.
Exactly.
And
Danny could learn a lesson or two from Clark Kent.
Danny just shows up at a dojo and expects to sweep karate instructors off their feet with takeout.
Very fancy takeout, yeah. Oh man, I really don't like Danny as a character at this point, and that's a real problem.
Yeah, I basically hate him. I hate him. The show can improve, but I'm at the point now where I don't even think he can turn around. Not in this season anyway. Maybe in Defenders with someone else directing, someone else writing, possibly. But it feels like a lost cause to root for him at this point. But there you go. That's episode 6 of Iron Fist. And despite the fact that I tried to end this 8 minutes ago, we still almost hit 30. So blame Connor for that. Thanks for watching, guys. Get us on Twitter at mail_fuzz for channel updates. Individual Twitters are on the screen for general ramblings. Like and subscribe, all that jazz. Yada, yada, yada. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.